All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are still doing well on this Friday. We made it to the end of the week. And I want to take a look at another element of Brady Henderson's training camp preview for the Seahawks, because one of the things that he did was project out the 53-man roster that the team will have when the season starts. Obviously, right now they're working with a 90-man roster. So this is what he thinks it might look like after the cut down. All right, so we're going to look at this, and then we're going to compare it to what I have. I have my own current projection, and we'll talk about differences. We'll talk about discrepancies. We'll talk about whatever it is that might make our evaluations a little bit different. But let's just start at the top here with a quarterback. Now, this one is pretty much set in stone. Darnold, Lock, Milrow, Darnold, Lock, Milrow. So that was pretty easy. By the way, this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. The only thing that could happen at quarterback is Milrow looking really good in camp and preseason to where he's now ready to be the backup, and then you could release or trade or something with Drew Lock, I guess. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they want Lock around in the event of and something unfortunate. They feel like he can at least run the offense, even if he won't run it terribly well. But this is pretty obviously your 1, 2, 3. Running back, we've got Halani, Price, Wilson, Oots. He lists Oots as a running back, even though he's a fullback, but it's the backfield, same diff. That is what I have. Price, Halani, Wilson, Oots. I also have Brady Russell here, but Henderson lists Russell as a tight end. I just list him as a fullback. Doesn't really matter either way. Point is, he's on the team, and he can play both roles, just depending on what we need from moment to moment. With McIntosh's injury and, of course, the Charbonnet thing, there's really not much of an opportunity for anything else to happen at the running back spot, so this is pretty obviously the way it's going to go. I guess Wilson could get let go for Jacardia Wright, maybe, but doesn't seem likely. All right, so that is running back. Then he's got tight end. He lists tight end before receiver. I don't know why, but Barner, Saubert, Arroyo, Russell. Again, kind of a slam dunk here. Not really much to analyze. I just have Russell listed as a fullback, but those are your guys. I got Collar up on the practice squad, by the way, if anyone was wondering about that. But pretty straightforward. So our first difference is going to be at wide receiver here. Wide receiver, JSN, Cup, Shaheed, Bobo, and Torrey Horton. That is the top 5. I think we all understand that those 5 guys are guaranteed to make the team because they all are, for one reason or another, locked into the roster, financially or just because of their youth. Like, Horton's the one guy who might be cheap to move off of, and you're not going to move off of Horton because he's good. But he only has the Seahawks holding 5 receivers, which I think is actually fairly reasonable because the thing is, Seattle doesn't use wide receivers as much as other teams. So them only carrying 5 when other teams carry 6 makes some sense. However, my projection still has us carrying a 6th receiver. Right now it's Cody White, could be Emmanuel Henderson, could be Ricky White, could be any of those 3 guys, I think. It just depends on who looks best on special teams. I think that's what it comes down to. Now, he does mention he has Henderson on the practice squad, but I think we're going to want that special teams whiz on the active roster from day 1. So that's our first difference. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. And by the way, let's move Tyrone Broden down actually to cornerback since he's moved positions. So yeah, let's just throw him there. Okay, so that's our first discrepancy. I just think they're going to want a receiver who they think is going to be a whiz on special teams on the roster. If he's on the practice squad, you can only call him up twice. Now, you could put him on the practice squad, call him up twice to start the season, then put him on the 53-man, I guess. But, I mean, Henderson's not making that much money anyway. Neither is Cody White. It's not like you're saving a bunch of money then. So I don't really see that being beneficial. Okay, so that's the receiver stuff. Now the offensive line also kind of gets a little bit interesting here. Now, I decided to cut down my depth chart on the offensive line to 9 players, which is the same as what Henderson has. So after thinking about it, I think we can afford to put Kite on the practice squad and call him up if our tackles get hurt because Jones can play both sides. And that seems to be what Henderson has as well. He's got Cross, Zabel, Stundle, Bradford, and Lucas. Those are your starters. Jones, Stevens, Richmond, and Cable do. Now, the one different excuse me, not the one difference, but I have Richmond on the practice squad, and I have Oluwatimi still on the team. So the interesting thing here is the fact that he doesn't have Oluwatimi on the team. And the reason why is because he views Oluwatimi as a player that can be traded. So I'm for that. I don't have a problem with trading Oluwatimi if you can find a team that needs a capable center, like a team like the Titans might think Oluwatimi's better than what they have. I think there are one or two other teams that might at least consider it, like the Vikings, but I kind of feel like that would have happened by now. So I think what's more likely to happen is that we carry Oluwatimi into the season, and then sometime between now and the trade deadline, we trade him to a team that has an injury at center. Like if the Ravens lose Ethan Posick, who they just signed, they would probably trade for Oluwatimi because they would be desperate because their center spot is so rough right now. I think it's Drew. God, I can't even remember his name, but he's not a very good player. And Oluwatimi, I think, is better than that. So I think it's more likely we have Oluwatimi until close to the deadline. But that's the primary difference here. Other than that, we are on a similar wavelength. I do wonder if we'll carry the 10th offensive lineman just to be safe. But I think the thing is, Kite, nobody's going to pick him up. You can put him on the practice squad and feel very comfortable that you're not going to lose him. All right. So that is it for the offense, I do believe. Richmond, I mean, maybe Richmond's on the roster, but the thing is, Richmond can't play tackle. So if you've got Stevens and you've got Cable Do, both those guys can play guard. I don't think you need another guard. So I don't see any point of having Richmond on the active roster. Okay, so now we go over to the defense here. Defense, this is where he bulks up a little bit. He's got 6 on the defensive line. He's got Big Cat, Murphy, Reed, Mills, Morris, which is what I have. I did eventually put Morris on. I went back and forth on that one, but I think Morris will make the team. Then he's also got Brandon Peely, which it's not unreasonable. I have Peely on the practice squad. I don't think this team is going to carry 6 defensive linemen to start the year. I think that Peely might make it over Morris, but I don't think they both make it. I think that Peely might make it just because they view him as a little bit more valuable as a nose tackle, whereas Morris is more of just a 3-tech. But I think Morris is a better player, and he also is better on special teams. So I don't know. But I don't think we carry 6. I think we carry 5. He also went 5 deep at outside linebacker: Nwosu, Lawrence, Hall, Fowler, Ivy. I have the top 4, but I don't have Ivy. I have Ivy on the practice squad. I do like the idea of us having 5 edge rushers. I do. But I don't think Jared Ivy is enough to be worth the roster spot. I think that if you're going to carry a 5th guy, it's going to be somebody like a Clowney or a Joey Bosa or somebody who's actually like proven to be a valuable NFL player. Or he's signed now, but somebody like a Cam Jordan. I think that if you're going to carry the 5, the 5th guy should be in this defense with this arrangement of edge rushers, somebody that is a little bit better than just Jared Ivey. I would, if you wanted to sign that fifth edge, somebody that has some real juice. Again, we talk about Clowney a lot, but there are other guys too, like Hassan Reddick. I would gladly give up that sixth wide receiver. I would give up one of my corners, maybe even an inside linebacker. I don't know. But I don't want it to be Ivy. I don't think Ivy's more valuable than another player I can put on the 53-man somewhere. Okay, inside linebacker, he's got Ernest Jones, Drake Thomas, Tyrese Knight. Those are the three slam dunks that I have as well. He has Chaz Surratt as the fourth linebacker, which could happen because of special teams. I have Pat O'Connell because I don't think there's a big difference between the two on special teams, and I think that O'Connell is more trustworthy to be part of the defense. Surratt has more talent, though. That's definitely true. So it wouldn't shock me either way, but I did end up going with O'Connell. I would kind of like to see Surratt take this spot personally because I think he's got more upside, but I don't know. O'Connell's been around forever. Hard to get rid of that guy. So he's doing something right. So I'm going to go with that for the time being. Cornerback, we have Witherspoon, Job, Neal, Igbenogany, Pritchett. I ended up going with Witherspoon, Job, Neal, Igbenogany. I did eventually throw him on here, Pritchett, and Fuller. I think that we value Fuller and we don't want to risk losing him. So I had him on the active roster as well. So that's one spot where Henderson did not add a player, and he's not listed under safety either, by the way. So I feel like the team values something they see there. If anything, I could see Pritchett go before Fuller because they've had Pritchett for a couple years now. They might have already decided he's not that good, and they'd rather keep somebody who is an unknown like Fuller. But I don't think Fuller is going to be allowed to get off the 53-man and have us risk losing him. And I'm not sure about the Igbenogany thing. I threw him on there because I couldn't find somebody else that I thought was worth putting on there for the time being. But he's the guy I might give up if we sign a fifth edge. But he's not a bad player or anything like that. I just don't totally know what he does in this defense. But put him on there for now. I think to me he's probably the guy on the... He would be my first guy on the chopping block if you're trying to fit somebody else in. Nickel corner, he doesn't have an individual category for nickel corner, but he does have Eamon and Bell listed under safety, which is what I have, Eamon and Bell. So same difference, doesn't really matter. Safety, he's got Love, Clark, and Okada. Love, Clark, Okada. Kicker, punter, long snapper, Myers, Dixon, Stoll. Myers, Dixon, Stoll. So all the same stuff there. And that's the depth chart. I don't think there's much to talk about with the safeties, by the way, or the special teamers. We all know those are our dudes. The only difference is I had a practice squad. He alluded to a couple of practice squad spots, but not most of them. So at this point, I don't know about McIntosh because the injury might have just basically ended his career preemptively. So that may not happen at this point. But the rest of the practice squad spots, I mostly feel good about. I think these are the guys we want to carry into the season. And yeah, that's really about it. So we've got a few differences here, but overall, same basic idea. A lot of our differences are pretty minor. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys feel about this depth chart, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Might have more later, might not. We'll see. But training camp is just about to get started, and football's just around the corner, guys. So I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks, and let's keep it going.